All right, so we are at the Roar Before the 24 with our good friend CCA member Samantha Tan.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so flashing back to last time we talked to you was Road Atlanta. It was post championship in the GT3, and now we can sort of hear each other.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Yeah, describe the feeling now that you've had some time to reflect on basically a solo championship.
Yeah, again, I think I probably said it at Road Atlanta, but it felt like redemption for the SRO season. Granted, I will say, I think there were a lot more cars in SRO, so it was definitely a big challenge to win that championship. But again, the IMSA championship, especially in my debut year with the series, was a dream come true. And now that I've had more time to process, I'm really, really proud. It was really cool to get the team back together, have my same engineer from SRO, and to bring it all together and to bring it home together was, special. It was very special. And now we're back in IMSA this year in Michelin Pilot Challenge, and it's going to be a really cool challenge for me, for sure.
So I know you did a post a while ago about your plans being up in the air, and so how did this, I guess, partnership, from the way to describe it, with Random Vandals, how did that come about?
Yeah, so if you guys have been following my journey or my socials, you know that I had a video come out maybe a month or two ago that I really had no idea if I was going to be racing this year. And it was a very big scare for me, especially as somebody that's been racing pretty much for a big majority of my life. I think this is my 12th year now. It was really scary, and especially coming off of a championship title. I mean, it's devastating. It's disheartening. And I'd like to say to a lot of people that, talent alone in this sport does not guarantee you a seat. And unfortunately, you need to be the full package. And even when you are the full package, it's still very difficult. But that's just the reality of motorsport. Needless to say, Random Vandals and BMW stepped up to help me put together this season this year. I mean, it came together quite late, but we were able to collaborate not only with RVR and STR together to make this program happen. And I'm really cool to be driving with Bill Auberlen. Obviously, he's a BMW legend, and not just within the BMW space, but generally in American racing. I mean, it's really cool to be able to learn from somebody who's so experienced in this sport. So altogether, I mean, really, really thankful that RVR helped me out, especially in this time of need, and BMW, and we put it together, and it's going to be a really cool season.
Right, so this is like the first time you've worked with Bill, because obviously he was a teammate in SRO.
So we're not complete strangers. We're not complete strangers.
So how does this come about, being paired as a co-driver with Bill Auberlen? How did that come about?
Came together, I think, because we're both huge ambassadors for BMW, and it just felt like the right fit. He's been with my team previously, so we're not complete strangers. And again, I mean, really, really cool that BMW was able to pair us together, because I think we could achieve a lot together.
That's really good. And then this is we're at day 2 of the War Before the 24. So you raced this last year. And I know in the video you did sort of the ranking of the IMSA tracks. I think this one was a 6.5.
It was not very high on the ranking.
All right, so obviously I'm not a race car driver, but I've ridden around the track before. It seems really cool. But what's your perspective as a race car driver? What makes this one obviously
not as good
as the other ones?
Yeah. So in general, it's a relatively boring track, just because there's essentially just the infield where you've really got your turns and more technical aspects. I mean, in total, there's 7 corners, really?
Something like that, yeah.
So once you get on the banking's really cool, but I mean, it's essentially just a straightaway, right? So It's just not the most technical track. And I think when you compare it to let's say VIR or Road America or Watkins Glen, where there's elevation changes and you're through the trees, it's a different feeling. I mean, it's cool here. Obviously, it's very historic. You've got the 24-hour race here, but in general, as a driver, I think just the lack of technicality. It's just banking at the end of the day.
So I can't remember what you rated Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but that
was another one.
A similar idea. It's a historic track with some banking and an infield with not much elevation. Hard to pick out reference points for things. like the same sort of feel?
Yeah,
as in the other
I would say Indy's a little bit more technical. I mean, there's more to the infield, right? Like you have the turn one kind of like S's, and then you've got a chicane, and then more S's, and there's more corners at Indy. So I think it ranked a little bit higher than Daytona.
Yeah, capital, maybe with a 7.
Yeah, but especially because here, I mean, your top speed matters so much, and it almost just feels like that's the whole part of the game. Like you're really setting up the car just for these long straights. So, I mean, I personally, as a driver, I just prefer tracks where you're more in tune with the corners. You know.
All right, so we got a full season ahead with Michelin Pilot Challenge. Are there other things in the works that you can talk about right now, or perhaps hint at perhaps what to look out for?
Yes, we're going to hint a little bit. Obviously, we have 11 weekends this year in Michelin Pilot, which I think is the most weekends I've done in a series, or like in a main series for a very long time. So this is going to be the main focus. Obviously, we're going to push for a championship again. But on top of that, I'm still trying to remain relevant within the GT3 space. So you might see me over in Europe for a few very special races. We'll see.
Of a certain duration.
Of certain duration. But needless to say, it'll be a very interesting season. I encourage you to follow along.
All right, let's talk about the step from, I'm not going to say step down, because it's still racing. Going from a GT3 race car into a GT4, as a driver, what are the main differences you have to remember in the car versus a GT3?
Yeah, I really respect the drivers that are doing double duty this weekend, because jumping from the GT3 to the GT4 is such a mentality shift, mostly because you just lack almost more of the mechanical support. I mean, you have less downforce, the brakes aren't as good, and I always like to say that the GT3 is a real factory-built race car. The GT4 feels almost like a modified track car, if that makes sense, like a modified street car. Like, yes, obviously there's more support, but again, it's just a different mentality. You can't obviously send it into a corner as deep as the GT3, and you kind of have to modulate the throttle a lot more progressively, because in the GT3 you have 15 traction control settings. In the GT4 I think it's only 10, but it's just different. It's very different.
Awesome. And then I think we talked a little bit about your sponsorship with Olay. I think that's obviously carried over to the new car. So let's talk about Olay and the livery for this one. I know you've had a hand in the past liveries for your cars. Did you do the same with this one?
Yes. So happy to bring Olay into this season for 2026. I mean, again, it's really special for me, especially as a beauty brand that's never been within the motorsport space, and especially what it means for women in motorsport, you know, to be able to bring more of that, like, you know, femininity into the sport that we need, and to show that, yeah, there is value. There is value in sponsoring women in motorsport. So really proud to have them on the car again this season. And talked about the livery. So it is kind of an evolution again of the previous year. If you've noticed, we kind of keep similar liveries for 2 years, and then we kind of go in a whole different direction. But we kept the RVR stripes. Yep. I did have a say in this livery, but obviously worked with George, who's our photographer and creative director, to design this livery again. But it's got that same kind of kintsugi design from the GT3 that we've now, basically adapted for the GT4.
Japanese term, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
So it's basically using gold as the fusion of broken pieces of armor. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it, especially coming off of the SRO season, you know, just to, it's a very philosophical look at it, but yeah, that, you know, we can be more beautiful with the things that have become broken, essentially.
Right. I think that was a theme of one of your posts. We won't talk about that, because I don't think you want to get into it.
Which post?
All right. I'm saying, what else is left? I think that's about it for this little talk. So hopefully we'll catch up with you later on the season. So obviously we'll circle back at Laguna Seca, where we had first met 7 years ago.
Time flies.
Which is crazy. Oh, one more thing. SRO Championship. Obviously you finished P2 in a heartbreaking fashion.
1 point! 1 point!
Would you ever want to go back and battle for that championship again? Or is it on to the next higher thing to IMSA glory, if you will?
I think the biggest takeaway for me from that season was that we were in front. We were the team to beat. And even though we didn't end up taking home the title, like we had the respect of everybody. And for me, I think that just means that we're on to bigger and better things.
Okay. Perfect. Let's zoom in on the nails. So we got Random Vandals colors and motor school stripes. Well,
And the
awesome.
very, on brand M nails.
All right, but that's it. Thank you so much for your time, Sam. as
Thank
usual.
you. Nice to see
See you
you
again
guys.
soon. Bye.